What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Porter Rock 77 back. With another video. Thanks for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by. Check out my other videos. Subscribe, like or dislike the videos. Let me know what you think. Hit me up on my Twitter, Porter Rock 77. And how's your summer going so far? Man, it's brutally hot out here in the East Coast. I'm living in North Carolina right now, and it's disgustingly hot. I hear my family and friends in New York. It's brutal. It's a brutal summer. So just make sure you stay hydrated. Right now, I'm drinking a little bit of brisk iced tea. Not usually an iced tea drinker. Most of the time I drink water or soda. Whatever. I love Pepsi and stuff. But for some reason, on a really hot day, a nice cold iced tea refreshes you a little bit and stuff. But anyway, it's crazy out there. And besides the weather being hot, let's talk a little bit about Xbox community. Woo! Well, a lot of good things, a lot of crazy things been happening over the last couple of weeks. The sellout of the Xbox One S, Xbox taking NPD in July. Oh man, the community's on fire. Xbox community's on fire. The PlayStation community's hot. I mean, everything. It's a lot of activity, especially for the summer where things are light. You don't get a lot of games and stuff like that. There's a lot of activity. It's just like, whoo, the console war is flaring up bigger than ever. But let's talk about NPD. Let's talk about the July NPD. And I know everybody, I get it. A lot of people, they're like, why does everybody talk about NPD and stuff like that? Why they talk about console sales and stuff? Should be all about the games. And then, you have your groups. I'm going to tell you why I look into NPD. So when I started paying attention to the industry, which was around the PlayStation 1 and then 64 time frame, I didn't really know much about the inner dealings or whatever of how things go in the industry. So, when you're playing good games and you're playing stuff like that and you realize a sequel's never been made or why this isn't happening or why did that happen, I never really understood why. You know what I'm saying? Because I was very ignorant to the business side of gaming. All right? So then being ignorant to the business side of gaming, you never realize what exactly be successful. Like, for instance, I had the Sega CD. I was young when I got the Sega CD. And believe it or not, it was pretty fun. A lot of shit was fun. A lot of games that I played were fun and it's cool. But then the support just stopped, and I didn't understand why. I'm like, man, everything was cool. You were able to listen to music on it. That was my first CD player too. I'm like, man, all this, and it came. I remember when I bought the Sega CD, it came with a game, if I remember correctly, but also came with a music soundtrack of various different artists. And one of them was a rap song. I forgot his name. Not Heavy D. He had a rap song called "Treat 'Em Right." It was a '90s song. Oh, I can't remember for the life of me. But that wasn't the song that was on the CD. The song on the CD was "We Were Lost on the Storm." But anyway, it was pretty cool because I'm listening to all these music on CD. And unlike cassettes where you had to wait, rewind, and then press play, like, oh, I missed it, CD, just press restart over. And it was cool. That was my first experience with CD. And it was cool. It was great listening to music and playing these games. And more games were voice acting on CDs than they were on cartridges at the time. Because obviously CD had a lot more space. So it was a great time, but Sega CD never took off, and I didn't understand why it wouldn't. Sega Genesis was very popular at the time, but Sega CD didn't take off. Over time, 10 years later or whatever, or a couple of years later, as I started learning about the industry, I realized the $300 price point for the Sega CD, it was too much. So a lot of people didn't adopt. A lot of Sega Genesis owners did not purchase the Sega CD system or the add-on. And because they didn't purchase the add-on, developers, third party, would not make games for the Sega CD. That's what I'm saying. They would still make games for the Sega Genesis, but not for the Sega CD. It wasn't worth the investment. And that's a quick snippet of why, in a non-fanboyish way, you pay attention to NPD. It gives you a little prediction and insight of where your brand is going or what you favor or the hobby that you like and what direction it's going. Because at the end of the day, if your consoles don't sell, developers are going to be hard-pressed to make a game for that console, okay? Or if one console is selling better than your preferred console, then chances are you're going to see less and less third-party dealings or exclusives towards your console because they're not going to want to make a game and ignore the highest-selling console. Perfect example, just a small example, the game Inside. That game was like exclusive for like 1 month for you guys. Yet Rocket League was, how long was it exclusive on the PlayStation? Or how long, was it time exclusive? Almost like a year or whatever. Yeah, Inside, you got like 30 days. I mean, it comes out on the 23rd, so you had about a month with it. on your own platform. Why? Because the developers who made inside don't want to keep that game away too long from the market leading platform. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things you want to look out, pay attention to. But anyway, so back to Xbox taking over, July NPD. I want you to ask yourself this, okay? And this is the non-fanboyish way. Ask yourself, why? Why all of a sudden in July did Xbox One outsell the PlayStation 4 for that month? Now, keep a couple of notes. One, it wasn't the Xbox One S, because Xbox One S will be accounted for in the August sales. So it wasn't Xbox One S. Xbox didn't get no new IPs or new big killer games in the month of July. You understand what I'm saying? So it was the same Xbox that got outsold in June, May, April, March, February, for pretty much this whole entire year. So nothing really changed when it came to Xbox One itself. Yet somehow it managed to outsell the PS4. Why? It was simple. The price. For most of the month, it was being sold for $250, which is an amazing price. That's a great price to get a current gen console and play a lot of great games. And we're not just talking about exclusives, we're talking about also multi-plats to get into the current gen of Call of Duty, the current gen version of Destiny, play Division, all that stuff. All the current gen games that they have access to now, all these gamers who pay $250, they now have access to a huge library of current generation games. And they only needed to drop down $250 to do it. They didn't have to drop down $350, which what it would take if you wanted to do it on the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 was still $300. So a $250 Xbox, $350 PlayStation 4 to play current generation games. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty easy. It's a pretty easy choice. Notice how PlayStation 4 Power didn't get into the mix. It didn't interfere with that decision. Again, there was no new games for the Xbox One. Nothing was coming out. Nothing really has come out over the last 7 months except for Quantum Break, which was back in April. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much over the last 8 months the Xbox One system had. Yet in July, more people bought Xbox One S, at least here in North America, than the PlayStation 4. It's price. And this is the one thing I've been trying to say, I've been harping on for months now. All right? Before PlayStation 4 and Xbox One launched, PlayStation 3 and 360 sold a cumulative together 160 million units. That's 160 million units before the current gen began. Okay? Right now, between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, there's approximately maybe a little over 60 million. That means you have 100 million more units to sell out there. And even more, because every generation you get even more gamers. You understand what I'm saying? So you have 100 million plus to sell, right? Those 100 million plus that have not bought consoles yet, they're not $400, $500 console buying population. That is not the population. That population is 300 and lower. And the lower, the more you're going to grab. It's evident. We just saw it. We just saw what happens when a console reaches 250. Okay, now imagine if PlayStation also was 250 this month. You will have a huge spike in sales across the board for the month of July. You know what I'm saying? Those are the gamers we have. Those are the gamers that are left to join us. Now, notice I'm using the word join. If PlayStation releases the Neo this winter, chances are majority of the people going to buy it are already PlayStation 4 owners who want an upgraded experience. That's pretty much it. That's not growing the PlayStation fan base. So like, for example, if I go out this December or November, whenever Neo launches, and I buy the PlayStation Neo, I didn't grow Sony's fan base. I already have a PlayStation 4. I already bought games like Uncharted, and I already plan to buy more PlayStation 4 games. By me owning a Neo, I'm not going to buy 2 of the same game. So more games are not being sold because I already have the platform. You know what I'm saying? I'm already part of the PlayStation 4 ecosystem. All right. The main thing is to grow the ecosystem, to get more new players into the ecosystem. And those new players are the budget gamers. They are not the $400 or $500 peacockers. They're not the $400 or $500 guys who's going to be down to buy this new console. They're going to want $250 consoles, right? So, and we clearly saw that in July's NPD. We clearly saw how Xbox One sales improved by simply a price drop. Not because of exclusive, all that. Excuse me, my thing you there? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, let me charge my, let me plug in my laptop. Excuse me. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Anyway, back to what I was saying. We saw how simple price drop changed the dynamic. Wasn't games. Even though games is good. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. So even games, hey, it's good, it's great. We all get games. You understand what I'm saying? But at this point, you have gamers who don't own an Xbox One, who don't own a PlayStation 4, and there is a lot of content that's out there now. We have to get those consoles in their hands. Make them part of our ecosystem, and those gamers will start buying PlayStation 4, Xbox One games. They will start buying them, all right? But we have to give them the platform in their hands, okay? So how does price relate to the future, stuff like that? Xbox One Scorpio, beast console, but all that power does not mean a damn thing if you cannot get that box inside living rooms, inside gaming rooms, inside the hands of the gamers. You understand? If that console only reaches a niche audience, then it's not going to be for anything. It's going to be for naught. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio, even Neo's success rides on a competitive price. If the price is out of hands, yeah, you could say, you know, we got gamers, hardcore gamers, we in control. It's just amazing how the hardcore gamers think they're the shit. Hardcore gamers are not the ones that push console success. Look at, I'll even use an example, the OG Xbox. Majority of the people who own OG Xbox were hardcore gamers. You know, especially those console gamers that were really onto the online. That's who really owned the OG Xbox. And what ended up happening? The PlayStation 2 smashed the fuck out of that console. Excuse me for hitting the thing. The PlayStation 2 didn't even have a PSN. It had online, but it wasn't a system. It wasn't a platform, not like a service. It was just whoever made the game, you had to sign up for that. So if like you like Madden, you needed an EA account. If you like Ghost Recon, you needed a Ubisoft account. If you like SOCOM, you needed a Sony account. So whoever made the account, whoever was the publisher of that game, you needed a username and password to log on to their servers. So it was discombobulated. It was a total mess on PlayStation 2. Nothing like PSN now, nothing like Xbox Live. Xbox Live on their OG Xbox was unified, one username, password, friends list. You know what I'm saying? Everything was good, right? Console was more powerful. It was cutting edge at the time. Standard hard drive. It was cutting edge. It was a hardcore gamers console, right? That's what Xbox One was. And it was competitive, great online, great first-person shooters. It was a competitive, hardcore gamers console. Hardly anyone owned it. It sold like 22 million when PlayStation 2 sold 150 million. Some people never even seen an OG Xbox. A lot of gamers never seen an OG Xbox in front of them. A lot, you know? That's what I'm saying. The ecosystem has to have a certain amount of users. And majority of those users are the budget gamers. They're the ones that go out there. They just want to go, grab a box off the shelf, slap it on the TV they already own, plug it in, and just start playing. Play by games. Play by games. Play by games. That's it. That's all they want to do. They don't want to know none of this extra crap. They don't want to know about T-flops and all that stuff. Just get a console in their hands, put it under their TV, and just play some games. That's all they really want to do, right? So I hope people could take notice of July. It's all about the pricing from here on out, all right? Don't get too crazy with all this nonsense that, oh my God, the 4K Blu-ray or an HDR. No, majority of the gamers who don't have consoles, I'm not trying to hear that shit. They want to know how much does it cost. That's what it comes down to. When they walk in the store, how much does that thing cost? Which is the better, cheaper buy. That's it. And that's how both consoles will grow, right? Speaking of consoles growing, we got September 7th, Sony's doing a dedicated PlayStation event in New York City. Man, I really wish I was there. At the PlayStation Theater for something. They're inviting the press. I don't know if it's going to be online or closed door. I hope it's live. I hope they stream it so that way we all can see it. But the rumor is they're going to unveil the Neos. So I didn't see that coming. Damn, I keep hitting the laptop. Sorry for shaking the camera. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see... I just kept thinking that they were just going to do Tokyo Game Show, the Paris Game Show, and their PlayStation Experience in December. But no, they're being serious. They created a dedicated event, excuse me, September 7th, and the rumor is going to be PlayStation Neo. So what do I think this event? I think it will be the Neo. I don't know what's going to be called. Obviously, Neo is just a project. They might call it PlayStation 4K. I don't think that would be a good name because I don't think they're going to deliver 4K, at least not natively. Maybe upscaled. Uh, will they unveil a Slim? I don't know. We haven't heard any rumors about a Slim either. To be honest, when they talked about the Slim for the Xbox, it was kind of short notice. So who knows? So what do I think Sony should do? It's hard for me to say, not knowing manufacturing costs and stuff that's going on and stuff. But what I would like, realistically, the PlayStation 4, we'll start with the PlayStation 4, that they remove the 500 gig model and now they only sell the 1 terabyte model. That's it, 1 terabyte. I think there's a lot of games, a lot of content. Sony needs to realize it takes up space, right? And the one thing I say I wish Sony had that Xbox had is the external HD support. I wish they had that. I really wish. That's the one. That's really the one feature. Everybody talks about folders. I don't give a shit about that. I want something more practically useful, and the external hard drive support is possibly the most useful equipment. Most useful feature in an age where games are like 30 gigabytes, 40 gigabytes, and patches are like 8 gigs and 2 gigs. We need a lot of space, and I can't keep switching out internal hard drive. I want to buy a 5 gig external and plug that bitch in, that makes it more supportable. So in absence of that, Sony has to push out consoles with lots of space, and it has to be minimum 1 terabyte. The more space a gamer has, the more they'll have the ability to buy games or purchase games. But once you start reaching 500 gigs and you start reaching that cap where you have no more room, gamers tend to be more iffy about what games they want to buy now. So you're limiting them. So what I would like to see, a PlayStation 4, just 1 terabyte model, and they announced it that it's $299. Right now, the PlayStation 4 is $350. I think it's been $350 long enough. It's time to think about the budget gamer. And as you can see, Microsoft thought about them for July, and you saw the reaction. They sold a lot, and it's good that Microsoft did that. Get that console in gamers' hands, and stop messing around. Get the console in gamers' hands. Make it affordable, right? Sony needs to do the same thing. Drop it 1 terabyte to $299. At that point, PlayStation 4 will be competing for the budget gamers at a price point $299. Then obviously during the holidays they'll drop it again. They'll drop both. Will drop another $50. So you'll see $250 consoles on sale for the holiday season. At that point, when gamers go in and see a $250 Xbox One S, a $250 1 terabyte PlayStation 4, the Xbox One S is going to have 500 gigs. PlayStation 4 is going to have 1 terabyte. So they're going to ask, why is this $250 with 500 gigs and why is this $250 with a terabyte? What does the Xbox One has because it has a lower hard drive? And the answer is going to be it has a 4K Blu-ray player and HDR, capabilities. At that point, if the gamer is a 4K gamer, meaning they have a 4K TV and that's what they plan to play on, the Xbox One S is the better buy. They can enjoy 4K capabilities on a TV they own. But if the gamer is not a 4K gamer, still with 1080p, and they have no plans on upgrading to a 4K TV, they're just going to play games on a 1080p, chances are they're going to go with the PlayStation 4 because, you know what I'm saying? They're going to go with the extra hard drive space, which they'll be cool with. So that's the scenario we'll see. Now, if you do have gamers who are 4K gamers and they're ready for 4K experience, this is where it's going to get tricky because now there is no Scorpio this winter. The most powerful console for this year is going to be the PlayStation Neo, you know what I'm saying? 4.2 teraflops, whatever. That's going to be the more powerful system. So you could imagine you're going to see comparisons of PlayStation Neo versus vanilla PlayStation 4 and Xbox One S and Xbox One, and it's going to blow them out the water. It's going to have higher graphic fidelity. So those who want a more powerful console system now and not wait a year, they're going to go with the Neo, all depending on the price. If the Neo launches at $500, that's a little bit steep. People might wait. They may not want to absorb a $500 console cost, and some people might wait, which means they'll wait next year to see how Scorpio turns out. And if the Neo is $500, that doesn't bode well for a competitive price for the Scorpio either, considering it's more powerful, better hardware, newer hardware. So it's going to be interesting. So what I would like to see, a $399 Neo, if it's possible. I think $400 is the sweet spot for gamers. It's a sweet spot. $500, it's a little bit tough. If you remember 2013, when the Xbox One launched, it did okay, but within 6 months, Microsoft removed the camera, so that way Xbox One could be 350. The $500 price point was just too much. You know, it wasn't selling that fast, so they needed to change the SKU around, so that way they could have 350 available. So even $500 is a bit much to bite, regardless what the platform is. $600, you can forget about it. $600, you're looking to kill your brand. I don't care what anybody says. $600 is a brand killer. Don't care who you are. You saw what it almost did to the PlayStation. PlayStation 2 was at the highest of the highest when it comes to consoles. It sold 1 billion software in its lifetime, 150 million plus console sales. It was the console of that generation by far. Then Sony released a $600 console and everything went to shit. You know what I'm saying? $600 is a brand killer. So Microsoft got to be careful on how they price the Scorpio, right? So anyway, can't wait till September, see what's going on. Hopefully we see some games. I would imagine this event, it's not just Sony, but I would imagine third party is going to be in. I would imagine that EA is going to be there. I think EA is going to be there with Battlefield, so they could see Battlefield in Neo mode. Because remember, it's supposed to be starting in October. Imagine Titanfall 2. Oh, that would be something big. Titanfall 2 in Neo mode. And how would that look? So third parties, hopefully third parties are there showing their third party games, and then some of PlayStation games. And I would imagine if they patched Uncharted and they show Uncharted 4 in Neo mode, and they have like the Uncharted 4 bundle with the PlayStation Neo and stuff like that. So that would be whatever. That would be kind of crazy. Imagine Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter kind of needs it. That's what I would do also. Have a new Street Fighter 4 bundle in Neo mode with all the bells and whistles to include all the DLCs. Do something to reinvigorate that franchise and get the sales back up, you know? So I could imagine that. I could imagine Bloodborne, you know, upgraded. I would take some of the best games that PlayStation, some of the greatest hits, start doing the greatest hits collection. I think now's a good time, but in Neo mode. Like Infamous, greatest hits in Neo mode. You know what I'm saying? Bloodborne in Neo mode, stuff like that. We'll just see with that. Gran Turismo Sport, Neo mode. So who knows? We'll see that stuff like that. But anyway, that's it. That's a little bit of my video, stuff like that. Just a quick turn. Oh, one more thing. No Man's Sky first impression. That's right. Gonna give you a quick first impression. So I played a couple of hours of it. I'll tell you a little bit about me. I don't really like crafting games too much. Like Minecraft, I haven't even played it. I don't really play much crafting game stuff like that. So, but you know what? I tried out an impulse buy. I tried No Man's Sky. Main thing that made me buy it was I saw a video on the dog fighting. You know what I'm saying? So I saw whoever had this video and showed it out. They were actually shooting in space, fighting, you know, dog fighting, straight up air combat. And I'm thinking, all right, that's actually pretty cool and stuff like that. So screw it, let me try it. So when I started, you start out, you're looking around, searching. You get this little gun that you have to improve and fix. You mine for stuff. You get materials. You build your little spacecraft. Now you can fly around the planet. And as you keep flying around the planet, you find observation posts and stuff like that. And you find messages in different languages and stuff like that. And you're trying to learn new languages. You see ancient, like, small little monuments that teaches you knowledge and just weird stuff like that. And then I said, you know what? Let me jump to another planet. And then also you see animals. Damn, I keep hitting it. I'm sorry. But then you see animals and, you know, you start recording, identifying them and stuff. Then also I finished. I flew out into outer space, which was pretty cool. When I flew out into outer space, I saw this other big ship flying around. I'm thinking, all right, this is pretty cool. Then I warped to another planet and stuff. And then I just stopped at the second planet. Been working early, so I couldn't game much. So I'm going to try a game a little bit more. But I will say this. If that's all I'm going to do from planet to planet is just explore, identify new animals, get new minerals, make new weapons. I think I met a merchant, trade and sell and buy, and then fly. Then it's going to get pretty boring because I'm not into crafting just to craft weapons, to jump from planet to planet. What I would like to see, which I don't know, it doesn't sound like it, but I would like a point to the game besides just exploration. I mean, I get exploration in of itself is a point. I could understand that. It's just like going out to space and looking for new life, new materials, new research, get new equipment. So I get some people like that stuff. People like to research and capture new animals, get new equipment, new minerals, use minerals to build your ship, improve your ship, and just improve everything. And those are those crafting survivor type guys. I'm that type of guy. I'm the type of guy that if I have to build a weapon, it's because I need to use it and kill something. Does that make sense? You know, if I need to improve my ship, it's because I have to fight somebody or I can't survive. That's me. That's my thing. So I don't like crafting just to craft. And I know there's a lot of gamers that do that. They just like to build just to build shit. I'm not that type of gamer. So what I would like to see, and I hope maybe might be end up disappointment, that if I'm doing all this, eventually leads into something. Would I go to a planet and this planet be invaded by alien race, or if I'm going to space and people are attacking me and I have to survive, let's just give me a reason to improve myself, to look for minerals, whether it's to save a planet, save a galaxy. If that's ultimately No Man's Sky's future plans through DLC, all right, kind of get it, but I probably won't be around long enough to play it. So we'll see how it is and stuff like that. The graphics are nice, very cartoony, hand drawn, whatever, but it's really nice. It's really cool. It's really smooth. I didn't notice any technical defects or any stuff like that. The world is big because once I got on my ship, I was like flying around all around the world, and I'm like, holy shit, this is pretty big. And I like how you leave and you're into outer space and you're flying. It's a pretty smooth transition. So you're flying into space and you're going all this, and then you go into warp drive and you warp into another planet. And then when I land on a planet, it is completely different. It's completely different from the first. So it is a cool experience and stuff like that. But I'm the type of gamer that I need a point to do something. I have to have purpose. And I know it's not all gamers are like that. So this means my point or my view may not relate to you. You might be the one that loves to craft and find stuff and just explore and just invent stuff just to invent. I'm not that guy. If I'm inventing, if I'm building a gun, it's because I have to use it to survive, find a boss and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Something like that, kind of like Mass Effect or whatever. But we'll see. I'll keep playing and see how it is. I know there's a lot of reviews, disappointing reviews, good reviews. The one thing I have to say is if you go to like M4G, News for Gamers, right? And then you click on, it says hot topic today, click on week. The whole panel is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, good publicity or bad publicity, it's all that game. So that game is on the eyes, ears, and mouth of every gamer and industry guy out there. Whether you have something bad to say or good to say or indifferent, somebody's saying something about that game. And that's pretty impressive for an indie developer. Whether it's false hype or good hype or whatever, it's out there. Everybody's knowing and talking about that game, which is pretty impressive. So we'll see. We'll see how well that game sold, and NPD and stuff like that. Anyway, that's my topic for today. A nice video. I'll get it out there. Put some content on my channel. Thanks for stopping by. Again, if you're new to the channel, just please subscribe and look at my other content. Trying to set up this week's 60 Frames No Lag podcast. I host it every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Trying to arrange a special guest, Zaire. I want Zaire a special guest. So if you're on his channel or if you're on his Twitter, tell him, hey, motherfucking Porter Rock's trying to contact him. Tell him stop ignoring me and shit. All right. I know he's busy doing podcasts left and right, but don't forget about the little people. Anyway, so I'm trying to have him as my special guest this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. 60 frames, no lag. Hit me up on Twitter, PorterRock77. All right, leave a comment, subscribe, tell me what you think. Also, if you're listening to this and there's topics you want me to talk about, because like I said, you guys are in the know, and the whole community as a whole, you hear a lot of things, whatever. So if there's a topic you want me to talk about, something to address, just hit me up on a DM on Twitter. Be like, hey, Porter Rock, this is what's going on, da-da-da. Can you research and make a video about this? You know what I'm saying? And then I'll try to do it to best support you guys. But thank you for supporting me. Thank you for stopping by. You know what I'm saying? To the most passionate community out there on YouTube, the gamers, thank you for stopping by. And just remember, at the end of the day, always keep it gaming. All right? All right. You take care. Have a great weekend. And stay cool. It's hot out there. All right.